recently resolved the new Naira note crisis, which sparked violent riots in Edo and other parts of the country. Recall that President Buhari had appealed to Nigerians for a 7-day period to solve the crisis brought about by the Naira swap policy. Still on the Naira crisis, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has said the Federal Parliament will have no option but to reconvene before the Presidential and National Assembly elections on February 25 if the Central Bank of Nigeria fails to address the hardships Nigerians are facing over the currency swap policy. Gbajabiamila, in a statement issued by his special advisor on media and publicity, Lanre Lasisi, noted that the House would continue to closely monitor the CBN's implementation of the policy, following the Green Chamber's meeting with the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, on the issue. Recall that Emefiele had appeared before the House last week over the crisis caused by the redesign of some Naira notes and the exchange of old Naira notes with the new ones by the populace. The House had adjourned plenary till February 28 to allow members participation in the electioneering towards the polls. Away from that, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, has said the federal government is currently working to create fiscal incentives to encourage private sector investments in education. The minister said the recent increase in attacks on educational institutions had made it imperative that the federal government prepares a holistic national plan with inputs from states and key relevant sectors to create a safe learning environment in the country. Ahmed noted that since President Muhammadu Buhari signed the Safe Schools Declaration in December 2019, her ministry had been proactive in staging stakeholder engagement on financing safe schools and creating safe learning environments. She stressed that more needs to be done, adding that with the assurance from stakeholders, they remain collectively committed to ensuring adequate funding for the implementation of the Safe Schools Declaration. In a separate development, telecommunication consumers under the aegis of the National Association of Telecom Subscribers, NATCOMS, have dragged the federal government to court over its plan to implement a 5% excise duty on telecom services. According to the national president of NATCOMS, Adeolu Ogubanjo, the suit is against the imposition and implementation of the excise duty and value-added tax on telecom services. It stated that the suit was filed at the Federal High Court in Ikoyi. In another development, the new Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, Yoasha Ahmed, has cautioned corps members to avoid political arguments before, during and after the February 25 and March 11 general elections. Ahmed, who cautioned the corps members against showing political bias, also advised them not to embark on unauthorized journeys that could undermine their security. The new DG said corps members who will be engaged by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) as ad hoc workers should remain unbiased electoral officers, in line with the provision of the amended 2022 electoral laws. He stressed that his administration will continue to ensure that corps members enjoy improved welfare as well as security. On petroleum matters now, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has denied plans to cease operations once the government enforces 195 naira per litre pump price. A statement today by the National Operations Controller, Michael Satui, advised the public to ignore the information. Satui hinted that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, is preparing the logistics to start the supply of petrol to IPMAN members directly. Recall that Mujida Desope, the publicity officer of Ibadan Depot, had on February 3, 2023, called for the shutdown of IPMAN filling stations over the fuel price limit. According to him, dealers, particularly independent marketers, were not comfortable with the government's directive due to the high ex-depot price. Well, away from that, Nigerian banks today denied allegations of fueling the scarcity of the redesigned Naira notes across the country. The Association of Corporate Affairs Managers of Banks, ACAMB, empathized with the public on the hardships consequent upon the rollout of the new note and the reviewed cashless policy. The president of the group, Rashid Bolarinwa, in a statement said the banks cannot be the clog in the wheel of progress when they had already invested about 100 billion naira in the system. Bolarinwa said the fund was used in setting up and maintaining cutting-edge electronic channels in recent years as part of the ongoing commitment to seamless customer experience and real-time digital financial transactions. In another development, the governments of Kaduna, Kogi and Zamfara states have dragged the federal government before the Supreme Court, seeking a restraining order to stop the full implementation of the Naira redesign policy. In a motion ex parte filed on their behalf by their lawyer, Abdul Kahim Uthman Mustafa Son, the three northern states are urging the apex court to grant them an interim injunction, stopping the federal government, either by itself or acting through the CBN and the commercial banks, as well as its agents, from carrying out its plan of ending the time frame within which the now older versions of the 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira denominations of the Naira may no longer be legal tender come February 10, 2023. The plaintiffs in the suits are the three attorney generals and commissioners of justice of the three states, while the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami's son, is the sole respondent. The plaintiffs further maintain that the 10-day extension by the federal government is still insufficient to address the challenges bedeviling the policy. Back here, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has conducted the mock accreditation exercise ahead of the general elections in Akwa Ibom State. The exercise, which was conducted in 6 local government areas of the state, with 2 polling units in each LGAs, witnessed low turnout. Well, accredited voters at the polling unit said that the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, works perfectly well. And with the use of the BVAS, the 2023 elections will be free and fair.
Many people have been moved to.
From what I've been told through this exercise, is good. And most importantly is that I learned it can work online and offline. So if that is the case, it means even where we don't have network, BVAS can still facilitate the voting. So I think it's okay. I think INEC is doing everything possible to wipe away rigging in elections. And I think the Nigerian citizens are equally well sensitized that it's going to be one man, one vote. The most important thing is you have your voter's card. When you have your voter's card, you approach the desk in charge of the accreditation and you exercise your voting without any problem.
Well, it is my first opportunity of seeing the working of the BVAS. We've heard so much about it and there's been plenty of controversy. But from what I've seen in this mock exercise, I can see that the BVAS works very well. It captures within 45 seconds, not even up to for 1 minute. And it has 2 modes of capturing, either using the fingerprints or using the facial recognition. In each situation, the process is very fast. So I think I am convinced with what I have seen here that the election is going to be as good as we wanted it to be. Please, Nigerians, I am...
With a further call on all eligible voters to come out in their numbers and exercise their franchise come February 25th and March 11. Well, according to INEC in Akwa Ibom State, 10 additional polling units have been created and some voters have been transferred to those units. The promise to educate the public on the development before the 2023 general elections.
People have been moved to, we call it migration, to new polling units. Okay. which are just immediately proximate to their former polling units, to decongest them. It makes no difference. So we're going to, again, very extensively keep the public properly informed. So people don't feel, oh, I've been moved away from my polling unit or some political parties behind this and all that. No. Some units now have too many voters. So that such polling units, that we call them PUs, can become unmanageable. And happily, we've created some new additional polling units within the state. Over 1,000 were created. So as a result of that, some voters have now migrated, as it were, have been moved from their former polling units to polling units which are immediately proximate to those polling. No, they're just the same place, location, virtually. So we're going to spend, between now and the election, we're going to extensively sort of keep the public properly informed about this. So they know there's no problem, no one is behind it, you know. It's just to make the polling units more manageable. So these are the things we're going to address from Monday onwards.
In South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa has asked his deputy, David Mabuza, to remain in his position until a transition is finalized. Mabuza said he believed it was logical for him to give way to Paul Mashatile, who was elected in December as the ruling ANC's party's deputy president. Mashatile is due to be sworn in as a member of parliament today. His entry to parliament will pave the way for the president to name him as the country's deputy president. But the president is equally due to deliver a State of the Nation address in Cape Town on Thursday. Still in Africa, a United Nations peacekeeper from South Africa has been killed and another wounded in an attack on their helicopter in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The UN mission in the country, MONUSCO, said the helicopter came under fire in the afternoon while heading to Goma, the capital of North Kivu province, where it managed to land. It said another peacekeeper was wounded in the attack. A South African National Defense Force, in a statement, also confirmed the attack. On our foreign scene, more than 300 people have been killed and nearly 2,000 others injured in Turkey and Syria after a powerful magnitude 7.8 earthquake hit southern Turkey early today. U.S. Geological Survey said that the quake is one of the strongest to hit the region in more than 100 years. Struck 23 kilometers east of Nidagi, Gaziantep province, and at the depth of 24.1 kilometers. Multiple strong aftershocks have been felt across the region, including Lebanon and Israel. While the Turkey's disaster agency has appealed for help from the international community as it conducts search and rescue operations. Still on the foreign scene, Israel's defense minister Yoav Gallant said the country is preparing to provide emergency aid to Turkey after it experienced one of the most powerful earthquakes in more than 100 years. Gallant in a statement said that the security system had gained lots of experience over the years in dealing with disaster areas and in the mission of saving lives. The security forces are ready to offer whatever assistance it required. In another statement, Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen expressed deep sorrow to the Turkish people. He said so far in Israel there have been no reports of injuries or damage, though shaking from the 7.8 magnitude quake could be felt in the country. Still to come in the news. Philippe Coutinho in shock move to join new club from Aston Villa. Please stay with us. Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. On our business news, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association (NECA) has predicted a shutdown of the small businesses if the lingering Naira crisis persists. Director General of NECA, Wale Yerinde, stated this: with the rising inflation and reduction in purchasing power of consumers, the nation could witness the death of many small and medium-scale businesses, as well as the shutdown of many large businesses. According to him, rising energy costs, inadequate foreign exchange, high operating costs, among others, was impacting business negatively. He lamented that Nigerians were grappling with limited availability of cash and scarcity of petrol. Oyerinde therefore urged the government to, as a matter of urgency, ensure the availability of the new Naira notes, prosecute saboteurs if necessary, to ease the frustration of Nigerians and avert the impending breakdown of law and order. But still in business, despite investor sentiment trading and uncertainty surrounding the 2023 general elections, the anticipation for dividend payouts and sectoral performance of the NGX Bank's index actually raised the stock market capitalization by 1.08 trillion naira in January. The stock market in 2022 recorded foreign investors' apathy due to the scarcity of foreign exchange, double-digit inflation rates, and a hike in monetary policy rates to 16.5%. The market capitalization of all listed stock on the Nigerian exchange closed trading at 28.99 trillion naira on January 31, 2023, which represents an increase of 1.08 trillion naira from 27.91 trillion naira it closed for trading in 2022. The head Capital Markets and Treasury, Ayotunde Alabi, said the anticipation for dividends payout and bargain hunting drove the market's performance. He said most investors are trying to partake in the dividends that the companies are going to pay out during the first quarter. To health now, where Nigeria currently has about less than 100 oncologists to cater for the medical needs of the country's teeming population. Reports say a minimum of 3,000 oncologists are needed in the country. But this is just as the country has only 13 government and private health facilities with radiotherapy machines. While data is limited, it is estimated that Nigeria recorded about 124,000 cancer cases and 72,000 deaths in 2021, according to the World Health Organization, International Agency for Research on Cancer. Meanwhile, the chairman, Nigeria Cancer Society, Ekiti State Branch, Dr. Bidemi Omonisi, has called on Nigerians to abstain from unhealthy lifestyles and practices that may make them susceptible to developing cancer. Omonisi, a consultant anatomic pathologist with Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital, Edo-Ekiti, spoke in Edo-Ekiti during the 2023 World Cancer Day with the theme Close the Care Gap. Well, according to him, cancer is a major public health problem worldwide and one of the leading causes of death globally, noting that research reports stated that 1 in 5 people develop cancer during their lifetime, and 1 in 8 men and 1 in 11 women die from the disease. He stressed that the global cancer burden could be reduced through healthy eating, physical activity, limiting or quitting alcohol, knowing about signs and symptoms of cancer and early detection, among others. And now in sport, the long-awaited National Cross Country Championship, a baby of the Ministry of Sport, will hold on February 18 in Jos. Sports Minister Sunday Dare, who disclosed this, said the championship is aimed at helping Nigerian long-distance runners to develop their strength and become better runners. Also speaking on the championship, its coordinator, Tony Osheku, said Dare will be remembered as the first sports minister in over 4 decades who had taken positive and proactive interest in long-distance running and runners. The National Cross Country Championship is a 10 kilometers event and will be held at the Rhino Golf Course in Jos. Well, still in sports, Aston Villa attacking midfielder Philippe Coutinho is set for a shock transfer move to Galatasaray. According to reports, Galatasaray are interested in signing Coutinho on loan from Aston Villa for the remainder of the season. The report added that Galatasaray are seeking an initial loan deal but may be open to negotiating a permanent agreement for Coutinho, as Aston Villa will be looking to recoup a part of the £17 million they initially spent on the former Bayern Munich star in the summer. The former Barcelona and Liverpool player has been restricted to just 6 Premier League starts during this campaign. On our entertainment news, Nigerian singer Tems yesterday won a Grammy Award, becoming the first female artist from the country to win the prestigious award. A compatriot, Burna Boy, lost in the 2 categories in which he was nominated. Tems, whose real name is Temilade Openiyi, won the award in the Best Melodic Rap Performance category for her contribution to the hit song Wait For You, a collaboration with musicians Future and Drake. Tems is the first female Nigerian artist to win a Grammy Award. Meanwhile, pop queen Beyoncé yesterday reigned supreme at the Grammys, breaking the all-time record for wins with a 30-second prize and 4th of the night to a resounding applause. The 41-year-old entered the day with the most chances at the Grammy Gold with 9, following the release of Renaissance, her rich layered ode to club music. Well, she surpassed the late classical conductor George Solti, who had 31 awards. While responding, Beyoncé thanked her family and paid special tribute to the queer community, who she credited with inventing the genre she celebrated in her historically layered record that pays homage to pioneers of funk, soul, rap, as well as house and disco. But that's all we have for you at this time. Many thanks indeed for joining us. Don't forget, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all our social media platforms, all of which you can find on our website. Just search spectrumtv.ng. You've been watching the news at 2. I am Raymond Ita. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.